thank you for attending our press conference today to talk about the state of Rhode Island and the budget process. First, I'd like to introduce Mr. Ken Block.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming today. I know that there's a lot of huge news stories out there, and I'm really pleased that we have some media coverage today over something that I believe trumps every other story that's out there right now. How Rhode Island makes its rigged $10 million budget and the recently exposed scandals with that process are extremely important stories that come back year after year. Last week, we learned that a single chiropractor named Dr. Pedro was targeted to receive $1 million in the budget for a treatment that failed to receive federal approval for reimbursement. We also learned that Governor Raimondo removed Dr. Pedro's funding from the budget and that Speaker Mattiello put that funding back in. All of these maneuvers were hidden from the public's view. A huge backlash ensued once this crony deal was exposed to the public, and rightfully so. The line item veto, a budget tool that 44 other states have, a tool that more than 6,000 Rhode Island citizens have advocated for over the last 5 years, and a bill that the Rhode Island Senate unanimously sponsored last year but failed to bring to the floor for a vote, is designed to eliminate the Dr. Pedros from our budgets. Speaker Mattiello has made clear that he is a sworn enemy to the line item veto, even though polls show that a solid majority of Rhode Islanders want Rhode Island's budget process to look like other states' processes and to have the line item veto. It is obvious why the Speaker will fight tooth and nail against the veto. His ability to rig the budget and slip taxpayer funds unaccountably to his cronies would be seriously reduced. Governor Raimondo has stated that had Rhode Island had in place a governor's line item veto, that she would have used that veto to eliminate Dr. Pedro's money from the budget. When will the Speaker stop acting in his self-interest and start acting in the public interest? It is our $10 billion, not his. Our budget process is broken, well beyond the lack of the line item veto. The governor transmits detailed spending plans to the House when she submits her budget early in the year. Those plans, which include details all the way down to things like Dr. Pedro, are not currently made public. They should be. As the Speaker makes changes to those detailed spending plans, including removing or adding things like Dr. Pedro, those changes should also be publicly disclosed before House Finance votes to approve them. In fact, those changes should be available so that the public can testify about those to the House Finance Committee before that committee votes to approve the budget. We are missing a key element of the review process that cuts the public out from being able to see the spending items in our budget. House Finance receives the completed budget. They received the completed budget last week after 11 o'clock at night and voted to approve that budget less than 30 minutes afterwards. There was no way for anyone on that committee to even read all of the changes that were made to that final document, let alone evaluate them. This is no way to manage a $10 billion budget. Speaker Mattiello praised this year's budget. This budget is not something to celebrate. It is horrific. The Finance Committee never knew about Dr. Pedro from the documents that they have been working with. Our budget process needs to be much more transparent, and it needs to be slowed way down as the process to finalize it and vote upon it begins. The public should be able to defend itself against bad spending, and we are cut out from the ability to do that right now. Every single legislator in this building shares the responsibility for allowing this terrible budget process to happen. It is on every single legislator to decide to prioritize changing how this rigged system works over any small crumbs that they may be given by legislative leadership. Legislators across the political spectrum have complained to me directly about the legislative process and how that those legislators have been neutered by the rules of this legislature, which begs the question, why do they continue to put up with it? Those legislators are elected to represent their constituents, yet those legislators hand over almost all of their individual power to the Speaker when they walk through the front doors of this building. We need heroes in the legislature who will dedicate an entire session to forcing through the reforms that will open up our budget process and provide better stewardship of taxpayer funds. This is what every legislator has been elected to do. Do your job. How many other million-dollar chiropractors are there in our state budget? Only the innermost circle of top legislative leadership knows, and that is just plain wrong. 44 other states have far better budget processes than Rhode Island. It is time for the line-item veto. It is time for our individual legislators to declare that enough is enough and insist on changing our rigged system. This current system is unfair to just about everyone but the favored few in charge and their cronies.